The wine glasses stopped clinking, and 20 collectors watched as Johnny Depp stood at the wine auction with Leonardo DiCaprio when the sommelier told them that celebrity status doesn't equal wine expertise during an exclusive bidding session that would challenge their understanding of authentic oenological culture versus entertainment industry collecting. Sotheby's Wine Auction House, Beverly Hills, March 2023. The prestigious auction room occupies an elegant space where genuine wine knowledge meets Hollywood investment, where authentic viticulture expertise determines collecting credibility more than entertainment industry wealth or celebrity wine ventures that reduce fine wine appreciation to luxury lifestyle accessories designed for social status rather than understanding viticulture as cultural discipline requiring sustained educational commitment. The auction embodies sophisticated wine culture, climate-controlled displays that preserve bottle integrity across decades of proper storage, professional tasting stations equipped for sensory evaluation rather than casual consumption, auction protocols that demand technical knowledge and market understanding requiring sustained industry engagement rather than impulse purchasing serving investment portfolios. Johnny Depp, 59 years old, examines vintage Bordeaux labels while processing auction terminology that challenges conventional luxury purchasing through technical frameworks extending beyond celebrity collecting toward authentic wine appreciation that serious auctions demand from bidders whose credibility must span oenological knowledge rather than relying solely on financial capability. Beside him, Leonardo DiCaprio reviews lot descriptions with characteristic intensity, his own recent wine investment interest providing foundation for understanding market dynamics while recognizing cultural complexity that extends beyond purchase capability toward viticulture education requiring sustained engagement with wine regions and production methods. This 1982 Chateau Latour represents exceptional terroir expression, Johnny observes while studying auction catalog, noting the vintage significance that demands understanding climatic conditions and vineyard management extending beyond price appreciation toward cultural knowledge that few celebrity collectors develop despite substantial wine investments. Different kind of collecting challenge than art or real estate, Leonardo agrees, recognizing the parallel between authentic wine appreciation and entertainment industry luxury consumption that prioritizes investment value over cultural understanding requiring sustained education about viticulture history and production techniques that most celebrity purchasers never address. Their attendance begins with appreciation for wine culture that operates independently of entertainment industry status, seeking sophisticated collecting that serves cultural education rather than maintaining luxury lifestyle through expensive purchases that demonstrate wealth without proving corresponding knowledge or cultural participation in viticulture communities. The auction attracts serious collectors whose wine commitment reflects deep engagement with viticulture rather than investment strategy based on market speculation. Connoisseurs who evaluate lots through sensory criteria and historical significance rather than celebrity endorsement or price appreciation that influences entertainment industry collecting approaches. The clientele includes vineyard owners whose production expertise spans generations of family winemaking, master sommeliers whose palate development encompasses decades of professional tasting, wine historians whose knowledge includes regional development and cultural significance that most celebrity collectors never encounter despite expensive cellar acquisitions. Most entertainment industry people who attend wine auctions want impressive bottles for social media rather than developing actual wine appreciation, explains Master Sommelier Claire Rodriguez, whose own wine background encompasses competitive tasting and vineyard consultation. They focus on price tags and prestige labels rather than understanding terroir expression and production techniques that define authentic wine culture. As auction progresses, both actors demonstrate respectful engagement with wine protocols and cultural complexity, recognizing oenological authenticity that extends beyond their current knowledge, while avoiding casual approaches that treat fine wine like luxury accessories rather than understanding viticulture as cultural practice requiring sustained educational commitment. The auction house's reputation attracts legitimate wine community members whose oenological authority creates evaluation standards for distinguishing genuine appreciation from entertainment industry appropriation that treats wine collecting like investment opportunity rather than understanding viticulture as cultural discipline requiring sustained palate development. From his position at the sommelier station, Master Jean-Claude Dubois observes both actors' wine engagement with growing understanding of cultural requirements that distinguish wine appreciation from luxury collecting, toward oenological education requiring participants whose knowledge spans technical understanding and sensory development that few celebrity collectors successfully integrate. Dubois represents authentic wine authority, sommelier expertise earned through decades of professional tasting and vineyard study, oenological knowledge developed through working with international wine regions, cultural integrity that prioritizes authentic appreciation over commercial accommodation that might compromise wine vision for celebrity appeal or market speculation. He watches both actors' auction participation with practiced assessment, earned through distinguishing genuine wine engagement from luxury consumption that entertainment industry protocols might create through emphasis on price over palate, recognizing collecting patterns that reveal preparation approaches unsuited for cultural appreciation. The wine evaluation requires understanding terroir as environmental expression rather than marketing concept, vintage variation as climatic storytelling rather than investment timing, aging potential as cultural patience rather than market speculation, tasting notes as sensory communication rather than technical jargon, concepts that challenge luxury-focused collectors. As bidding continues, both actors demonstrate growing appreciation for wine concepts while revealing collecting approaches that emphasize investment value and social prestige rather than engaging cultural frameworks that inform wine appreciation through sensory education, requiring sustained palate development beyond celebrity purchasing power. Their interest focuses on lot prices and market reputation rather than understanding terroir expression through sensory evaluation, approaching wine collecting through luxury acquisition rather than cultural education that requires understanding viticulture as regional storytelling rather than investment demonstration for social validation. 8 seconds pass as Dubois evaluates their wine engagement and apparent limitation in accessing cultural appreciation that wine collecting requires from participants whose sensory authenticity must support oenological community rather than reducing viticulture to luxury consumption serving entertainment industry status. Celebrity status doesn't equal wine expertise, Dubois declares with devastating precision, earned through distinguishing authentic wine culture from entertainment industry collecting that treats fine wine like luxury investment, rather than recognizing oenological work requiring sustained sensory commitment and cultural education beyond financial capability. His assessment exposes fundamental requirement that prioritizes cultural authenticity over purchasing power for wine appreciation that serves as sensory education rather than luxury demonstration, recognizing contemporary wine community expectations for oenological credibility that requires participants whose knowledge understanding supports cultural preservation rather than market speculation.
The declaration carries particular significance because wine culture represents cultural breakthrough that demands participants whose sensory engagement supports wine tradition, rather than reducing wine complexity to investment opportunity that might compromise cultural vision for luxury accommodation or entertainment industry collecting approaches. Auction attendees respond with understanding of cultural factors that influence wine development beyond financial considerations, recognizing authentic appreciation that depends on participant capability, whose sensory authenticity supports cultural tradition that luxury consumption might not provide without corresponding educational engagement and palate development.
Leonardo's face shows recognition of evaluation criteria that prioritizes cultural knowledge over financial capability, his investment approach conflicting with wine requirements that cultural appreciation demands from participants rather than accepting luxury interpretation as substitute for oenological understanding and sensory commitment. But before Leonardo can respond with arguments about his wine investment research or defend his collecting approach through market knowledge and continued purchasing, Johnny demonstrates understanding that acknowledges cultural requirements while respecting oenological expertise, requiring sensory engagement rather than luxury consumption. Jean-Claude, Johnny says respectfully, his voice carrying genuine recognition of wine authority rather than defensive collector pride, you're absolutely right about celebrity status versus wine expertise. We need to engage sensory education and cultural understanding at fundamental levels rather than approaching wine through luxury collecting that might not serve oenological community. Dubois appreciates Johnny's immediate understanding of cultural demands and willingness to accept oenological requirements rather than defending luxury collecting that might not serve wine concepts despite genuine financial commitment and continued purchasing through established auction participation and cellar development. Johnny continues with growing recognition of cultural authority. When you say celebrity status doesn't equal expertise, you're addressing our need for sensory engagement with wine culture rather than treating collecting like luxury investment that prioritizes market value over cultural education and palate development. The acknowledgement demonstrates Johnny's understanding that wine success requires serving cultural authenticity rather than adapting oenological concepts to accommodate luxury interpretation, recognizing cultural reality that influences appreciation decisions beyond personal financial preference or entertainment industry collecting patterns. Both actors recognize Dubois' expertise, their revised approach enabling genuine participation in wine education rather than luxury collecting, demonstrating collaborative appreciation that balances cultural requirements with personal capability while maintaining authentic oenological commitment rather than market speculation. Over following months, both actors pursue extensive wine education while Dubois provides cultural resources to support oenological understanding that serves appreciation authenticity, demonstrating collaborative development that balances cultural requirements with collector capability rather than compromising wine standards or abandoning cultural education. The collaboration results in an integrated approach that maintains cultural authenticity while providing practical framework for appreciation development, recognizing that oenological understanding requires sustained study and sensory commitment rather than immediate comprehension that might not serve either cultural vision or collector development effectively. The wine community observes with understanding as cultural education demonstrates complex development process that balances oenological authenticity with collector capability, recognizing sommelier authority that prioritizes cultural success over luxury accommodation despite genuine financial commitment and continued purchasing through established patterns. Years later, both actors speak about Sotheby's auction as educational about wine requirements, cultural authenticity, and sensory development that serves genuine appreciation rather than accommodating luxury approaches, despite sincere commitment to wine excellence and continued collecting beyond previous limitations. Dubois occasionally references that auction session as example of how wine education requires cultural engagement when collectors choose sensory learning over luxury assumption and oenological respect over collecting that treats wine community like investment opportunity, rather than understanding viticulture as a cultural discipline requiring sustained educational commitment.